Welcome to Magic Gathering Strat. My name is Bava, and today I want to offer a primer on how to get started playing Magic Online. And I'm going to gear this a little bit towards people who may have been playing some other CCGs, the other collectible card games, such as Hearthstone or Soulforge. But this primer will be good for everybody. It's not just going to pertain to them. So if you've never played MTGO, Magic Online, also known as Moto, and you want to figure out how to get started, then please watch on. I'm going to start off right now by saying if you have never played Magic, or if you're very new to Magic, I don't think that jumping into Magic Online is the best way to start. Wizards of the Coast has another Magic product called Duels of the Planeswalkers, and this comes out every year actually. So there's Magic 2014 Duels of the Planeswalkers, there's Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013, 2012, and the games play very similar, but they have different decks that you can play with. And 2014, the newest one, was the first one to offer sort of a sealed deck environment. So it's sort of similar to the arena or drafting in Hearthstone or Soulforge. It's not a true sealed environment, but it kind of imitates one. Now, the nice thing about Duels of the Planeswalkers is it has a very robust tutorial system. So if you've never played Magic, it'll go through step by step. It'll show you how to use the software, and it will help you learn how to play the game. So this is pretty handy. It's also much cheaper. So you can buy the core set, the core software, for $9.99. And then they have some expansion packs. There's tons of them, which basically offer you new decks and some new challenges. There's also this special edition for $20. Now, more or less, once you buy this, you're good to go, and you can play a lot of Magic. Now, I've only played Duels of the Planeswalkers 2014 for 13 hours, but I got back into Magic after a hiatus playing Duels of the Planeswalkers. So I played Duels of the Planeswalkers 2012 for 105.8 hours. So I have plenty of time in Duels of the Planeswalkers, and I think I played plenty of 2013 as well. Let's take a look for curiosity's sake. 223 hours on record for Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. So there you go. I have like 350 hours or so combined playing Duels of the Planeswalkers. I consider myself a fairly serious Magic player. After all, I make Magic related videos. So these are great places to start. They're very easy to play, and they're easy to learn. They have a very nice visual interface, and it's very straightforward. Alright, so that disclaimer aside, if you know how to play Magic already, you might be a little irritated by the one main limitation in Duels of the Planeswalkers, and that's the fact that you cannot brew. You cannot build your own decks for the most part, and sometimes it's hard to find a game against another human opponent. But particularly people want to build their own decks, and the deck building in Duels of the Planeswalkers is very limited. So if you want to build decks and try them out, which is the best thing about Magic Online, far better than playing paper Magic, where you have to try and round up the cards and find somebody to play with, which can be quite challenging. So Magic Online, I love that you can almost instantaneously get the cards that you need to build a deck and be testing it out and playing against people. And this is why, of course, net decking exists, is because you can iterate and test your decks so much quicker on the net than you can in paper. Okay, so if you want to try out Magic Online, here we are. This is the Magic the Gathering Online page. It is accounts.onlinegaming.wizards.com, or you can do a Google search for download or install Magic Online, and it should bring you here. Also, if you're just at a magicwizards.com, you can check out the Magic Online section here. Now there's two things you have to do. You have to download the software, which includes a free trial, and create an account. So we're going to go ahead and if you click on this download link, it gives you two options. Not the best interface. It defaults to the wide beta version, and there's also the current version. Now a lot of people use and swear by this version. I maintain it is really only because they're used to it. Aside from perhaps a little bit extra stability, I don't think there is anything about the current version that is better than the wide beta version. The wide beta version is laid out better, it uses screen space better, it's much easier to learn if you are not used to the current version. I tried in the past to learn on the current version and I gave up, and it was only when the wide beta version became available that I got into Magic Online. So I recommend this. It has the minimum and recommended requirements. They're not too stiff. Windows 7 64-bit, decent processor, 4 gigs of RAM. This is all stuff you should probably have on any decent machine. So you do that and you hit download now, and your download will start. And this is actually a fairly small download. It downloads really quickly, but it is of course a downloader. The actual file that you download is only about 8 megabytes, so that goes pretty quickly. Alright, so once you have that downloaded, you're going to go ahead and install it. I already have mine installed. Hopefully you don't need help figuring out how to do that. It's pretty straightforward. And you'll get this lovely little icon on your desktop. Before we jump in there, I'm going to create a new account. You can try it out under the free trial, of course. Creating an account is very inexpensive, and it includes a lot of perks. You get some event tickets, you get some new player points. These let you participate in events that are strictly available for new players. You get some avatars, which just represent you. You get a collection of 650 cards, and you get full access to Magic Online. And as this says, it is $10. So this is a very cheap way to get going here. So we're going to create an account. How much Magic Online experience do you have? So we are going to go ahead and say, and remember I mentioned that if you have no experience with Magic, you should go play Duels of the Planeswalkers. But we're going to assume you have a little bit of Magic experience. Maybe you play Magic in paper. So we'll hit continue here. And you will fill out this form, which I'm going to do now. 1 second. Alright, so I filled out the form. Apologies, but I obviously want to keep my personal information and credit card number private, so you don't get to see those on video. But I filled out the form. You do have to put in a credit card number, or you can pay with PayPal, and you hit submit and it takes you to this screen, and then you check your email for instructions on activating your Magic Online account. Okay, so here we are in the email that I received, and it has my name here. It says your username and your order number. To complete the online account creation process, enter the following code in the account activation page exactly as it appears below. So we'll just copy this, We'll go to the account activation page. We'll enter in the username I created, and we'll paste in the activation code and select submit. And there we go. Sometimes you get some extra spaces on the end, so be careful about that. Thank you for signing up. Your account has been confirmed. Download now to sign in to start playing today. And again, this will take you to the same screen where you pick the wide beta or the current version. And again, I recommend the wide beta version. Much easier to learn. Okay, so we've created our account and we've installed the software. Good job, us. Check out my fathoms here. Anywho, let's go ahead and open up the Magic Online that we installed. And this loading screen will last, the first time you do it, it might last a little bit longer, but after that it doesn't take very long, and they recently increased the speed with which this loads. So I'm using the account name that I just created. And there's a password there, so this is where you could play a free trial or create a new account if you wanted to. But the $10 gets us plenty of stuff. You do have to go through and say that you're eligible to win prizes. I don't know who is not eligible, but I'm going to say yes, I'm eligible to receive prizes. Yes, I'm eligible to receive awards. I'm not going to opt into the mailing list with this account because I'm opted in with my other accounts. Okay, so we get through those, and here we are. This is the Magic the Gathering online home page. This is not the most super helpful, wonderful page in the world. What it shows you are featured tournaments. These are mainly the big tournaments, and you can sort of see what they are. So there's a standard daily tournament at 6 p.m. and you get some information about it. It's 4 rounds, which is the daily format. So you play 4 rounds, and it's Swiss style, so you get to play all 4. And then the people who do the best win prizes. And the prize structure takes you out here. So a standard daily, the size is 16 to 128 players. It costs 6 event tickets. If you win 4 matches, so if you go 4-0, you will get 7 Theros packs, 4 Born of the God booster packs, and 3 QPs, which are qualifier points. And those help you. Sometimes you can win cards and prizes for getting enough QPs in a given month, and they also qualify you for a monthly tournament if you get enough QPs. We're not going to worry about that too much right now. So this event screen is going to look the same as a lot of other event screens. Is that you have a list of all the people who've joined so far. You find out how many people have joined. We need 16 minimum for this event to fire, for it to happen, 128 max. Now obviously there's 2 hours left before this event starts, so this will fill up much more than it has now. And if we had 6 event tickets, we could just click here and join the event. Otherwise it gives us the option to purchase the requisite product, which takes us into this store tab where we can buy things like packs and like event tickets. Now Magic Online uses event tickets instead of dollars, and you have to buy them and you have to pay tax. So if we wanted 6 event tickets to join that event, we'd have to come into the store, buy some event tickets, put in our payment information, and then check out. And so that would cost us a bit of money to get event tickets. Now since we spent our $10 to create an account, we do have the ability to play without paying for a little while. So let's look at what you get to start. So we moved over from the Home tab into the Collection tab. The Collection tab is split up into 2 sections. You have this top section, which is your collection basically, and this bottom section, and this includes your decks. So as you build decks, it'll list them out based on the format here. So for instance, if we wanted to create a deck, we could do so, give the deck a name, and choose the format. So if we wanted to create a standard deck, we would select standard, give it a name, mono black control, this guy, hit OK. So now we have a deck listed over here under mono black control. Obviously this deck doesn't have any cards in it, but if we want to, when we have cards in our collection, we can simply drag them from the top, which is our main collection, down into this area and that'll add them to the deck. So you have a section for your deck here and a section for your sideboard over here. Now, if you'll remember, we did get some product when we purchased an account, but you can't see anything right here under collection, and the reason is that our product isn't available as cards quite yet. It's available over here in other products, and it's called a new account starter kit. So you're in collection, you have to click on other products, and you will see this. And you'll see other things here too. Once we open this, we'll have some tickets, we'll have some avatars. When you gain QPs later on, you can see those for each season, seasons every month. But for now, we're just going to open our starter kit. Boom. Alright, so now we have stuff, and this is all the things that have been added to our collection. So we have 20 new player points, we have 5 event tickets, and the 5 event tickets, that's worth $5 right there. So we're getting quite a bit of value back already just by doing this. And we get a starter pack of cards, including some decent stuff. You know, we have some Banisher Priest in here, Briarback Alpha, Doomblade. So I'm seeing a lot of uncommons, probably not a lot of rares. They're not just going to give you money, for instance. And these are, they look like they're all M14 cards. They like to start you off in the core set. And if you play Magic in paper, you know that the core sets have been heavily revamped to be new player friendly. So we got, let's see. Yeah, we have some uncommons and some commons. No rares, no mythic rares. But we didn't pay much to get all this stuff. So we'll close this. This stuff has all been added to our collection now. So we have a number of avatars, some tickets, new player points, and now if we go over to the cards tab, we have cards. So we have 164 matches, but we have duplicates of a lot of cards. So we actually have, I believe, what did they say on the website? Over 650 cards that were added to our collection. So this is one way to start making some decks if you want to. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we'll look through some of these other tabs, and I'll talk about what you're going to find in there. And next time around we'll talk about some of the new player events that you can get involved in, and some of the formats that are much easier to access, including standard Pauper and Pauper formats. Standard Pauper, you only play with cards at a common level that are in the most recent sets, so it's really by far the cheapest format to get involved in. You can regularly build entire decks for less than $1. Pauper, because it's a format that involves commons from every set, does have some more expensive cards in it, so you can conceivably spend up to $100 on a Pauper deck because some of the commons that you want to play in them have only been printed in older sets and remain somewhat hard to get. So we'll talk a little bit about more about those next time. For now, we'll look at these other tabs. So we looked at home and collection. We're going to look in the play lobby. Now the play lobby is where you'll come when you want to play any Magic, essentially. And you'll notice there's pretty much two formats. There's limited and constructed. Constructed tournaments are going to show you things like the larger tournaments. So for instance, this is called a 2-man. So it costs 2 event tickets to join a 2-man, and if you win you get a pack. Not too bad. So you can see the queues, and these are the small ones, so 2-mans and 8-mans here in the queues. You can also see the scheduled tournaments, and these are the bigger tournaments like that standard daily we were looking at, which does cap out at 128 people, and it costs a little bit more to join, but as we saw, the prizes were much better if you win 4 rounds. Now in a 2-man, it's just you and someone else, so you just have to win a single match, which is best 2 out of 3 games. So these are constructed tournaments. Constructed does mean the decks that you build. So they have to be decks in your collection that you've built over here for the given format that you want to participate in. So if you wanted to build a standard deck, which includes cards from the most recent sets, you would do that here, and then you could join a constructed tournament. Constructed open play uses the same kind of deck, but in this case there's no entry fee, and there's no prize. So this is essentially just a chance to come in and try it out. And you'll notice it does allow you also to choose your skill level. For some formats, you're going to have a hard time finding games at every skill level. This Planeswalker skill level is sort of the beginner. I'm sorry, the Planeswalker format is sort of for beginners, I believe. You have your standard formats and modern and other formats here and just starting out. The Just for Fun room is supposedly one level up. The Getting Serious room is supposedly one level above that. And the Tournament Practice room is where you get ready to play tournaments. Now, as I was saying, for some formats, these are used differently. For instance, if you want to play Standard Pauper, pretty much all of those games happen in the Just for Fun room for whatever reason. If you want to play Pauper, you're pretty much only going to find a match in the Tournament Practice room, though occasionally in the Just for Fun room if people are trying things out. I have never managed to play a match in the Getting Serious room or in the Just Starting Out room, so as you can see, the Just Starting Out room does have some games available here against opponents. So those are the constructed sections. The alternative to constructed is limited tournaments. Limited tournaments are similar to the arena in Hearthstone and drafting in SoulForge. And as you can see, there are quite a few different formats, and it can be somewhat overwhelming. Now, as a new player, we can find new player events. And we can do that by toggling these selections down here. You can see we have a format, which we could choose if we wanted to. Tournament structure, which there are essentially two different forms of limited. There is sealed. Sealed, usually you get 6 booster packs that you just open, and you get to pick cards from it to build a deck. Draft, you actually open a pack, take a card from that pack, and then pass the rest of the cards to one of your opponents. Of course, the software handles the passing part for you, but essentially everyone passes packs around until everybody has opened 3 packs and picked 45 cards or so. And then they build a deck based off that and basic land. Very similar, somewhat similar, I should say, how arena and drafting works, except you're getting information about what other people are picking, because everybody who participates in the draft is picking from the same pool. So those are our limited events there. And if we want to pick a phantom event and set this to true, what this means is that you don't actually win any cards from the event. So if we were choosing a non-phantom Swiss or draft, for instance, sealed or draft, for instance, in a non-phantom sealed event, we'd open 6 packs and we would keep all of the cards from those 6 packs that we opened. And same thing with draft, we get to keep the cards that we drafted. A phantom event simply means that we don't get to keep those cards. So it's cheaper, obviously, to join a phantom event because you're not, for instance, in the sealed event, keeping the cards from the boosters that you open. Now you can still win prizes if you win a phantom event, so there can still be a reward, but there is also still a cost for participating in these events. All of the new player events are phantom events, and you'll see there's new player M14 sealed, which caps at 4 players, and new player M14 draft, which also caps at 4 players. And those are pretty much going to be the new player events that you'll see until Magic 2015 comes out, and then they'll be updated. The new player events have half the amount of players that the regular events have. So M14 Phantom Sealed for regular players, you get 8 people, and you'll always have 8. For the new player events, it'll be 4, and you have fewer rounds. So instead of 3 rounds for a regular draft or a regular sealed event, you only have 2 rounds for the new player events. This lets you get some playtime in and allows you to sort of get used to these formats. So you can see for the new player Swiss draft, it costs 1 event ticket, of which they gave us 5, and 2 new player points, of which they gave us 10. So we could conceivably do 5 of these events, and if you win the events, you can win more prizes. So for the most part, that's it for the play lobby right now. We'll come back and play a new player event for the next video. We looked at the store briefly. Next time I'm going to talk a little bit more about the store and even more about the trade tab and online vendors for Magic Online cards. For the most part, buying things from the store is not your best bet. If you're trading with trade partners over here, and you can find bots, which are essentially automated stores that will sell you packs and sell you cards and sell you tickets. You're going to get a better deal usually by finding the right bot than if you go through the official store. So we'll talk a little bit about that and some of the bots that you can check out. If you go to the account tab, this is where you can adjust your settings somewhat. Now there used to be a number of themes for the beta client, but as they were trying to fix issues, they got rid of all of the themes to sort of take that out of the issue equation. So right now you're just going to have the Gideon Jura theme, which is what we've been looking at in this video, but eventually I expect them to add back in, Liliana and Jace and Chandra and other Planeswalker based themes that will change the look and feel of the client. So the card display shows you what happens if you animate Summoning Sickness. You get this swirly bit. If you have a lot of things with Summoning Sickness, it uses a surprising amount of computer resources. So I recommend just turning that off. Animating foil treatment means that the card will shimmer, which you can sort of see it shimmering. Again, it's an unnecessary use of graphic resources, and for whatever reason this game can get somewhat graphic intensive. So you're welcome to turn these things on if you want to, and then your cards with Summoning Sickness that are foil will shimmer and shine and swirl, but we don't need that. If there's too much text on the cards, you can get rid of the reminder text if you sort of know what you're doing. So the reminder text gets rid of the text that tells you what lifelink does. So if you know Magic rules already, that's fine. Otherwise you can keep it on there as you're learning, and it will pretty much explain some of these key triggers like lifelink. And you can get rid of the flavor text if you're a cruel and heartless individual and you don't care about the story behind Magic. Or if there's just too much stuff going on the card, you can do that. I like keeping the reminder text and the flavor text, especially sometimes playing Pauper. I'll see abilities or activations or whatever, and I'm not exactly sure what they do. Sometimes I see new stuff, so it's nice to have the reminder text available there. The card preview window just opens up this thing, and you can toggle that on and off in a lot of places. Sound effects. The in-duel sound effects are often quite loud. I recommend turning them down. They're also not very pleasant right now. You can mess with your account settings, so you can edit information here about yourself. We have a few avatars now to choose from. So these are the ones in our collection, and you can see all of the avatars that are available, and they consistently add new avatars that you can win by participating in events. So for instance, these are all sort of the Theros and Born of the Gods avatars here with this Greek theme. So you can acquire these by participating in events. For some of the older ones, you can find bots that are selling avatars and purchase them. For now, we'll just use one of the avatars that we got, and we'll go ahead and grab the, we'll use this guy. Boom, boom. So long, Birds of Paradise. There we go. Now we have the Urnam Jin. You can see the address and stuff in there too, which is fine. You can change your key bindings. For the most part, you're not going to need to do this at the moment until you learn what the default key bindings are, and then you can decide if you want to change them. In Duel settings, you can change these very easily in Duels, so no need to change them here necessarily. Buddies, clan, and chat. There are clans, so it's sort of like a guild, for instance, and you can sort of see who's on your clan and chat with people. You have a blocked list here too, so if someone's a jerk and you want to block them, you can add their name here and click that button. And then you will no longer see them in the play lobby. You won't, they won't get matched up with you for any games, and so that can be good. And I don't think you'll see chat from them either. Filtering out profanity. I hate filtering out profanity. People can swear if they want to, but if you are a young person, you might want to do that so you don't get in trouble. Game history. Here you can see games that you've played. Order history. You can see stuff that you've ordered. So we just see our initial order of $10 plus tax to buy our account, essentially. Promo code history. We don't have any promo codes here, obviously, but you can earn these as you go. And the policy agreements, the things that we said, yes, we are eligible and we want special offers. After that, you have the help tab, which isn't always super helpful. It is, I guess, if you're starting out, I apologize, this can be very helpful. It tells you more or less how to get started and what to do, and links you to various stuff, including where to report bugs. Also helpful if you have questions is over here in chat. And there's a chat with support. And this will take you into a support chat room where not only can you chat with support, but you can also see other chats about support. So if a lot of people are experiencing the same issue, you'll be able to see. Sorry, it's off screen. This is what the chat window looks like. So if other people were chatting or if they had issues, their chats would show up here as well, so you can sort of see what issues those are. You can join chat rooms, so if you wanted to jump in the tournament practice chat room and try and get something started there, you can, or limited queues, etc. I've never used these. I know people use them more often for player run events, which we'll talk about. And then you can chat with your buddies, but we don't have any. Or you can start a new chat session with someone by putting in their name here and hitting create new, and that'll start a chat session with this person. And that's really just a way to text back and forth with other players. Now if we had buddies here, they would show up along here, and we could also chat with them and challenge them to duels from the home page. For now, that's where we're going to close today. That's sort of an overview of the beta client. That's kind of the dry, not as exciting part of figuring out how this client works. But next time we're going to jump in and we will do some gameplay and a new player event. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you guys are too. Should be much more exciting. And I'll see you then. I'm Bava, recording for Magic Gathering Strat. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. If you're on Magic Online, feel free to add me. My username is just Bava, B-A-V-A, on Magic Online. I'm always happy to chat or play a duel or whatever. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all again soon.